think of any haunts that really stand out in your mind that you like for whatever reason? Either because the atmosphere was really creepy, or the actors were really good, or just the displays were good.
Right. Well, I have several of them that I would rate as my top.
First of all, what would be, if you had to rank them, what would be, let's say, what do you have, 5?
Probably, yeah. I mean, 3 off the top of my head.
Well, let's do your top 3. Let's start with number 3.
It's hard to really rank them all because they're all a little different.
Okay.
But if I had
what would be the first one that you talk about?
Well, one that I really thought was well done, and to me it was professional, was the one in Rosemont.
Screams in the Park.
Screams in the Park.
Screams in the Park.
Yes. That one, to me, I mean, I've been at Universal Studios Hollywood where they've had like different, like a haunted house attraction. It was the first time I was there was the Mummy, and that was incredibly done. It was studio quality. And then they had a Universal Monsters one, which wasn't quite as good as the Mummy attraction, but it was still pretty good. But to me, Screams in the Park ranks up there with, you know, it was very like professionally done. Like I would say, like, you know, the sets, the designs, I mean, the audio animatronics they had, to me that was like top quality. And it was very long for what you paid. I mean, it was, you got a lot out of it. The actors all stayed in character. I mean, I really enjoyed that one. And then as far as another one that I really enjoyed was, is it Gates of Delirium?
Gates of Delirium, yes. In Gilman, Illinois.
Gilman, Illinois. I mean, it's a ride to get out there for us. But and we went there the year before, and so it was
their first year, so that 2012 was their second year.
Right, and I enjoyed it the first year that we were there. But the second, just this past year, it was just, I mean, as far as creepiness factor, this one, I think, won hands down.
And why was that? Any particular reason? I mean, I have my reasons, but I'm curious to see what you say.
Well, there's a scene where there's a nun, like at an organ, and she's just sitting there and not moving. And next thing you know, as you go by her, she just got up, and it was so creepy. I mean, just the whole atmosphere was the creepiest.
Well, she had no face.
She had no face.
And that was the thing.
And I had goosebumps. I mean, I was actually, I mean, I'm not scared of many of these because I just enjoy them. But this one I actually had like, oh my gosh, I had goosebumps. And we were the only ones in there at the time. So there weren't a bunch of people, so we were kind of like by ourselves. And these actors, I mean, it was creepy.
Now,
so I really enjoyed that.
I'd have to agree. And Paul and I think Paul likes this one too, because it has carpeting for one thing, and it deadens the sound.
Yes.
So when you're walking through, not only is it quieter, you can't hear people approaching or sneaking up on you or anything like that, but also it feels like you're inside somebody's house. So when you go to a living room scene or you go to some scene, it's like you're in somebody's house.
Right.
So that part you're talking about, that was a funeral scene.
It was a funeral
There was a
scene,
casket over here on the left.
With a nun with no face.
And there was a nun sitting at this organ, right?
Yes.
And when we walked in, we knew that she was a live actor.
Right. We knew it,
that
but we
she was
didn't know
going
what
to
she
do
was going to
something.
do. We knew it, but she didn't do it when we expected it.
And let me tell you, that
was what made it really scary.
That creeped me out too.
It creeped me out because you didn't know when she was going to do something.
So there's a difference between scariness and creepiness. The scariness is when somebody jumps out and you're not expecting, you're scared. But the creepiness is just that eerie feeling. Nothing could happen. You could walk through and nothing's happening, but you just feel like something's going to.
Yes.
So yeah, I agree with you there.
That's very well done.
Gates of Delirium was an excellent haunt for those reasons. That is worth a trip if you're doing haunts in the southern portion, central Illinois. I know it's a bit of a ride for some people, but there are several good haunts down that way.
It's definitely worth it.
And that's one of them that is well worth it.
Yes, I'm looking for that. I hope they have it again next year.
That's one of those things that we as tourists look for in a pay haunt.
Yes.
There's not a ton there. It's not exceptionally long, but it's well designed, and all the actors are excellent.
Excellent.
And it's well worth it, definitely.
Yes.
So what's your top one?
Well,
I think I know what you're going to say, but go ahead.
The one I like, just because the whole theme is movie monsters, is Frightmare. I absolutely love that one. It's very well done. It was excellent. I mean, every time I've been there, I mean, they do something a little different. I mean, it's the same movie monsters, but they do different settings every year.
Yes.
And of course, they have a really good Michael Myers in there, which I feel was a little bit better the year before, in 2011.
Yeah.
But they made up for it with Leatherface this year because they actually had the sheets hanging, like the bloody sheets, like a scene from the movie. And there's a girl, and this is something that I've seen that I haven't seen in many haunted houses, when they have people that act like they're in the haunted house, but they're actually actors and they're screaming to get out, like to leave, like, we gotta get out of here, we gotta get out of here, which is something that you don't see that often, where they're actually acting like they're actually part of the, they're not, they're like visitors of the haunted house, but they're actually actors. They're victims. They're victims.
Yeah. You don't see that, you're right, you don't see that too often.
Yes, I've seen it a few times, actually this past Halloween.
Yeah,
a couple of times, but to me that was excellent, because she's screaming, we gotta get out of here, we gotta get out of here, and next thing you know, here comes Leatherface with the chainsaw on, coming out chasing her, and then chasing you, and he has like the bib, the apron and everything. I mean, in the costume and the mask was, really, really good. So it was a really good Leatherface, and then you get to Crystal Lake, and then of course there's another victim, acting like she's trying to get away, and next thing you know, there's Jason. And then the first time we went in, there was this big guy, built like the Jason from the movies. And to me, that's very well done. And then there was Samara's in there too in the ring, and she's just not moving. And you see her there, but you don't know what she's going to do, because she's not moving. She's just standing there with the hair over her face, and next thing you know, there she is, she's coming after you.
Yeah, and it's in a section where you're actually trapped.
You're kind of trapped.
You come down the stairs, Samara's right there, and there's, in the first time, we actually went twice this year because it was so good.
It was so good.
The first time, Ghostface followed us. Okay, so we had Ghostface behind us. We knew he was there, he was just following us. And then Samara right here in the well, and then over here's a door. But until the door opens, you're kind of stuck in some ways. I mean, you could push through the door, but it's being held. There are actors behind holding the door. And all of a sudden, here comes... You're trapped on one side with the door, and the other side are these two monsters coming at you, and so it adds a lot to the atmosphere.
It was the one from Scream too.
Yeah, Ghostface.
Ghostface jumped out at you. Yeah.
And in the meantime, the first time we went, I actually got scared. It was a good scare too, because the door, I knew the door was there, and I was standing by the door. And Laura and Paul were over here by Ghostface and Samara, and two clowns jumped out of the door and said, "Oh, you ready to come in yet?" And scared the heck out of me. Yeah. And that was before Samara did anything, so it was good. Yes. So yeah, I agree with you about Frightmare, and it's one of those things that it really adds to a haunt. Frightmare is one of those haunts. You look at it from the outside and you think, "Boy, this looks kind of cheesy." Yeah, it looks cheesy.
It looks like a carnival, like an old. Like something from the 70s or 60s, like one of those like funhouse rides.
Yeah, it does.
That's how it looks like on the outside. It doesn't look like much.
It actually really, it's in a little...
It's so well done.
It's in a family fun place, miniature golf and go-karts and things like that, and arcade. And it looks like, it's not going to be anything. It's just one of those things. But it turns out, every year, it turns out to be very good. Right. So, Frightmare is a highly recommended one.
Highly recommended. I don't want to make an honorable mention, though. The other one, that's one of my top... we went there this past year. They didn't have it in 2011, and the first year we went to was 2010. It's Nightmare on Crete. That one to me was so well done.
Ah, yes.
Yes, I mean, you come in and they have you sit like a little movie theater, and they show you a film about this killer that was in the area that around this house there, the place it's in, the setting.
Yeah. And you don't really know if it's true or not.
You don't know if it's true or not, but it seems like it's true. But it's so well done, and they had the best, and of course me being I love the horror, the monster movies, they had a great Halloween scene where it actually, it's, you just go into the room and there's a TV on and it's playing the movie Halloween, but it looks like the room she's in the first movie, the original movie where Jamie Lee Curtis is in the bedroom, and there's a closet, like the hot closet she hid in that, very famous scene of Halloween. So next thing you know, the movie's on, and then next thing you know, Michael Myers comes right out of the closet, and then he starts chasing you. And I thought that was really very well done. I really enjoyed Nightmare on Crete. And then this past year, they didn't have Michael Myers. I was a little disappointed they didn't have the Michael Myers room, but they made up for it with Leatherface. And they saved him to the end, and it was one of the best Leatherfaces. I mean, that one and Frightmare were pretty comparable. But this guy actually chased you outside, and he was doing the moves like the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie where he's out with the chainsaw, going around. He moved just like him. So, I mean, it was very, very well done.
Yeah, there's little touches like that really add.
Yes, that adds to it, yes. And he chased you right out the door, right outside with the chainsaw, doing those same moves.
Yeah, it was very good. Nightmare on Crete is a well-recommended one. And hopefully they'll have it next year.
I hope so, because I'll be very disappointed. I was disappointed last year when they didn't have it, but I was so happy they had it again, and I really enjoyed it. And there was that other scene in Nightmare on Crete where there was like well, it was like walls. It was like moss and you didn't know. Next thing you know, someone pops out of the wall and just scared you.
Yeah,
it was
good.
very, very well done.
Good.